Good morning, boys and girls. It's your Red Panda here, ready to give you 7-day-old news because why not? Mr. G's already done it in like 17 other Crossout YouTubers, but you know what? I'm still here. I'm still going to give you the outdated news. Let's get started. So either way, we're taking a look here at this nice, brand new, lovely news post. You're talking about some upcoming changes to the brand new season, including a Crow Driver system rework, a meme that has been around somehow forever, yet I have never heard of it. But what is it? Well, as you can imagine, in the title itself, it's a rework of the already existing co-driver system. Because right now, the current system is not really ideal. Sure, for some weapons and some select classes, it is definitely very useful, but really, the only perk that matters when it comes to this co-driver is the very end one, which takes forever to get to for newer players, and then for some reason costs a bunch of money to actually get started. So, very actually limitedly used system, despite them actually putting a lot of time into it. So, let's see how they changed. First things first, co-driver skills. In the current system, the skills of co-drivers rarely affect the outcome of battle. Among them, only a few useful bonuses can be distinguished, and in order to receive them, the co-driver must reach his maximum level. This instant will change the situation. Ooh, will he actually get something useful from day one? How exciting. But this also means that the already existing co-drivers are going to take a back seat, but we'll talk about that later on more. Our main goal is to make each co-driver useful for certain kinds of armored vehicles and to give them specific roles on the battlefield. Long-range combat enthusiasts will definitely be interested in choosing Sniper, and thanks to co-driver named Rogue, his fans of close-range battles will become even more dangerous while being close to their enemies. Which is kind of interesting, because if that's going to be the case, these are actually going to be a lot more significant when it comes to compact. I'm actually kind of interested in how it's going to interact with their desire to make battles go on longer than 4 minutes. Each co-driver will have several passive skills that will improve your armor pods in one way or another. They can include a bonus to weapon rotation speed, reduced spread, increased projectile speed, increase in mass limit and tonnage, increased radius and explosion, or flame puddles, and much more. There will also be a tank co-driver, and all the skills will be aimed at providing maximum survivability on the battlefield. Now, this is kind of interesting because if that's going to be the case, a lot of these perks sound very similar to the already existing fusion system within the game. So is this just simply going to be a co-driver tier list, but then broken down into a variety of like fuse passives that are now you can add on top of your already existing fuse passives? Interesting. Let's see how that'll work out. And we do have an image here which seems to showcase the nice Tankman passive here. So Tankman and his team are some of the most talented armor specialists in the Valley. The reputation is confirmed by at least the number of people who have survived after encountering them, and we'll tell the tale about it afterwards. So the perk itself, upon activation, is after receiving 4 hits during 4 seconds. So think of like shotguns or, I'm assuming, machine guns, things like that. And increases the vehicle's resistance to all types of damage for 2 seconds. Now, I would appreciate that, but I also want there to be more specific numbers. This is one of the big things I kind of dislike about Crossout, is that they don't use specific numbers for a lot of things. So it's very difficult to get an idea of, like, your true potential. You have to get, like, some vague notion, and then you have to play, like, 20 or 30 games to actually get the true notion. But, okay, interesting perk nonetheless. Beyond that, looks like they also have 3 additional smaller perks. We have Military Engineers, minus 20% Generator Explosion Force. So just force, not, like, anything else. I'm kind of curious as to what that means. Tank Armor, which is a 5% total durability bonus, so similar to what you'd get for most of the co-drivers. And then Blitzkrieg, 10% penalty to receive from movement parts, so you generally go faster. Okay. So that'd be interesting. So say if your car reduces your speed down to like 50 kilometers an hour, would that cap it up to 55 then, potentially? Or is this just kind of like... It's kind of weird, though, because there's a lot of penalties associated with each additional wheel, so what do these even mean? So this is the thing with a lot of these perks, is that they need to have more flushed out, like, names and stats, because otherwise you can't use it. Okay, whatever, we'll call it good. In addition to the useful passive skills, each co-driver will have their own talent. In order to activate it, you need to perform certain actions. One of the co-drivers, for example, able to increase the damage you deal to enemy for a certain time and highlight the weak spots of the enemy's car. To activate the talent, you need to hold your crosshairs at enemy for a certain amount of time. The other co-driver will be able to restore durability to the car by collecting remains of destroyed enemies. So, interesting. Kind of like health packs dropped upon death, but you have to have a specific tank man or co-driver for that to actually work. So, interesting. Of course, the skills that listed here are not final, maybe changed several times before we're able to present the final version to you, but we think we have caught an essence of the future changes of how the right co-driver can affect the course of the battle. So it does sound very interesting. I do appreciate the actual perks be given to each co-driver, so in that sense, it actually does have a bit of a more impact when it comes to your car, and not just something that's just like tacitly there giving you very small but imperceptible bonuses. So that would be kind of nice to see how that changes out. With the new system, there'll be no need to level up a co-driver, get the max skill. Each co-driver with all of his skills will be purchased for glory points. The name may be changed later. Glory points will be earned in every battle. Just by playing the game, you'll gradually be able to accumulate the required number of points to unlock the next co-driver of your choice. After you've unlocked the co-driver, all of his skills immediately become available to you. Interesting. So I'm kind of curious as to what happens for players who already have the max level for every co-driver. I assume they just get all these then automatically unlocked at max level. But then what do you do with the extra experience and glory points you earn after every battle? They just kind of like infinitely accumulate? Interesting. There'll be some kind of compensation to old co-drivers and the resources spent on them. Yes, of course. We will take all the unlocked levels from the co-drivers into account and issue a corresponding amount of glory points. You can use these points to unlock new co-drivers. Interesting. I'm kind of curious then about the resources people spent, because some of these resources for the existing Crossout co-drivers can be quite expensive. Not like outrageously expensive where it's going to cripple your finances, but one where it's just like, yeah, it's a couple of coins, if not to a couple of hundred coins, because I think one of them's like, you need 2,000 scrap and like 100 or 1,000 electronics, something absurd like that. When will we be able to try out this new system? We will definitely launch the test server where everyone is able to try out the new co-drivers. After testing, you'll be able to share your feedback, thoughts, and comments with us. We'll additionally inform you that the last test server going into open to everyone. That's it all for today. So, essentially just saying, we'll get it eventually. He'll eventually get to test it. It'll definitely be a very interesting balancing session here, because I feel like for a lot of these perks, if they are just slightly better and able to get a pretty distinct edge, I feel like you might see a lot of people complaining about it per se, but I feel like as long as everyone has access to it and it's not prohibitively time drained to actually get into it, I think we should be all set. Although it should definitely be the case that for everyone who has that already maxed out for most of the other co-drivers, they should pretty much instantly be able to get this. But either way, I'm definitely going to be very interested in these actual co-drivers, and I definitely want to see their actual implementation fully next time we actually get an update on this. Although considering that the artwork they did show us has a very minimal amount of stuff actually done, I feel like a lot of these are still pretty much at like exclusively the concept stage, but who knows? Hopefully they have something a bit more ironed out. I can't imagine this being terribly complex, so considering that for the most part, a lot of the stats and features they're trying to implement seem like they already exist in most part for things like cabin perks. So essentially a co-driver just gets a cabin perk. So let me know what you guys think about the co-drivers down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts about this. Are you guys excited for them? What perks do you guys want to see when it comes to these co-drivers? But other than that, guys, there has been a small update, mostly bug fixes though, so go ahead, pause it, read at your own leisure. But beyond that, I want to thank you all for joining this season, and I'll see you guys next time. Cheerio!